guys, and welcome to the channel. Today's going to be part one of a multi-part series build. As you can see before me, this is the Revell Build and Play Star Destroyer, and I'm going to be doing a highly modified version. Now, I've built several of these, modified several of these, but this is going to be very modified. You can already see I've started cutting apart. Now, to start off with, I found this model. It was already put together. I found it on eBay. With shipping, it was only like 20 bucks. So pretty cheap to start off with. It came, all the parts were there. Like I said, it was already put together. It was really easy to take it all apart. And let me kind of explain my plans for it before we get going here. My plans are to build an Imperial 1 class Star Destroyer, and there's some key differences between the 1 and 2 if you didn't know. So, and this is even though this was released with the Rogue One movie, as the Star Destroyer the Star Destroyer on Rogue One was an Imperial Class 1. Some of the key differences are the guns that go along the sides here. In the movies, or in the Imperial 2, it has like these 8-barreled guns, which is what comes with this kit. But the Imperial Class 1 has a different set of type guns. I've 3D printed off some. I found this file on Thingiverse. These are designed especially for this kit. It comes with the different domes that go on top of the bridge and the different sets of guns here. And what's unusual is that they do have some key differences in two of the guns. You have some that are more box-like, and then you have these more rounder ones. So those are different. And anyway, so that's going to be part of it, but there's also just things in the kit that I'm going to be trying to do differently. One of my big things about this kit that's very inaccurate, and I don't understand why they did it, is this section right here. It's on the top part, the tier section that leads to the bridge. This protrudes out. It's not on any other models that I know of or seen, and I don't understand it. Now, on this kit, this part comes off, and my plan is, because where it goes, there's now going to create a voided area, is to cut this section off and grind it down and then glue it on top, because it should be, this part right here should come all the way down with the rest of it. So I'm going to have to build up this section. So this is where I'm going to start off, is working on this section, because it really annoys me. I don't know why it's there, and it kind of changes the look of the tower section, or the step section of the ship here. So I'm going to be attempting to just completely cut this away, and I'll have to grind it down, and then I'll glue that into position to fill this little gap that's going to be created. That's one thing I want to work on. Looking forward into it. One of the other differences in the Imperial Class 1 is this antenna section, I guess it is. On the Imperial Class 2, it lays flat like this. On the Imperial Class 1, it's kind of this X section right here is lifted up and faces kind of sideways or straight forward from the ship. I'll have to see if I can find another part to 3D print that, because I don't think cutting this one, it's pretty well attached into that, and I don't think there's any detail on the back of it. So that's going to be a little bit of a challenge. If we can't find a 3D file to print, we may have to try to scratch build it, and maybe even build out this whole section. So that's going to be a little bit of a challenge. And there's another big challenge that I want to overcome. And on this model, it has the trench area on one side, like this is the top side, it has the trench area built in to the body part, and then on the bottom it has the other side. This part is very narrow, way too narrow in my opinion. Even it's about as narrow as what the Bandai kit, and the Bandai kit is a 1/5000. This is supposedly like 1/4000. So I'd like to expand or widen this trench area of the ship, and I'm not 100% on how I'm going to do that. It's going to take a lot of work, because it's going to change the profile on the back, and I'm sure there will be a lot of fit issues trying to do such a long section on both sides. But I want to lift it up just a little bit to give it a greater sense of thickness there that I feel is missing in this model. Of course, I want to try to light it, but we're a ways off from that. From now, I just one section at a time, and just want to work on getting this section correct here. Here we have the tiers that come off the upper part of the body, first level. I've already modified them some, but here I'm opening them up more. I'm removing the interlocking snap type part. The one on the right here, I've already cut it away just with a hobby saw. I'll make it much easier for lighting once I get to that. Just cutting away this long stretch here that kind of blocks that in. And here you can see the upper body section, just test fitting, dry fitting, nothing's glued in right now. Where I've done those modifications. Pretty happy with that. Plan is to add a lot more detail once it's all glued in, and I'll kind of camouflage where I've done that scratch building. Now I have checked and seen that there are some models that did have some of that raised area, but for the purpose of this build, I want to do the Imperial one, and I just don't see that. This side you can see where I've opened it up further. I've cut away quite a bit of section. I still have a little bit more cutting away just to open it up for the lighting I plan to do. Still a little bit of cleanup going on, but coming along nicely. Pretty pleased with how that's coming, and should be able to light that pretty easily once I get to that part. And on this bottom section, I'm just filling in these gaps where these awful landing doors are at, and just filling it in with some Tamiya putty and letting that dry, and then doing some sanding. Plan is to add in some extra detail to help camouflage those lines, but we'll see once we get that. So that's going to conclude part one of this build. I hope you've enjoyed it. A long ways to go, but I think we're off to a good start. So thanks for joining me.